much. Vice Chairman Brady.
Thank you, Chairman. And again, thank you to the witnesses and the members who are here today. While you put up that poster on the Social Security, it is important we extend these benefits, that we do it now. We not have another 2-month extension. That was a disaster, in my view, for businesses, workers, and our local physicians. One of the big issues that Chairman Casey and I are dealing with is how you pay for these costs. These are real costs, more than $100 billion at a time we can't afford it. And the one point I want to make today is the payroll tax holiday alone blows a significant hole in the cash flow of Social Security. And if we do nothing else with that important program, it's critical that we fill that hole back up with real cost savings. Again, we are not talking about the trust fund of Social Security. We're not adding. We're not running surpluses. We're running deficits, borrowing extensively. It's important we fill the sinkhole now, this year, and certainly it's clear that extending the payroll tax holiday farther would have dramatic impacts on Social Security. I want to talk about the unemployment reforms. I'm just not convinced we run on unemployment very well at the federal level. Our focus is on getting those checks out for extended periods of time, not getting people back to work. One of the requirements that we're suggesting in the House is focused on those with the least education, those without a high school degree. We know they struggle to find a job. One of the points Ms. Conti made, which others have made, is that, look, some people, older workers, requiring them to get a GED as a condition of receiving unemployment doesn't make sense. Everyone agrees with that. But how old is too old? Recent Census Bureau report looking at the 1.5 million people without a high school diploma, without a job today, 1 in 5 are under the age of 30, very young. 2 of 5 are under the age of 40. So with my math, high-level math, 3 out of 5 are under 40 years old, have at least a quarter century of work time left in which a high school equivalent degree would put them in a better position. So, Ms. Conti, you're one of those who thinks we ought not be encouraging states to help these people work toward a GED. Why is that? You don't think they'll be in a better position?
No, I think you've actually misstated my position rather substantially. At the National Employment Law Project, we are huge proponents of lifelong learning, of federally and state subsidized job training at all levels, whether it's GED or other sorts of occupational training. And we believe that workers of any age, nobody's ever too old to learn more skills and to get more knowledge.
So you support that provision?
We don't support that provision, but you stated that we don't support workers getting more education, getting their GEDs, and that is not correct. So
you support people getting more education, but you oppose helping unemployed work toward a GED?
We support helping the unemployed work for a GED through appropriate means. We do not believe that the UI benefit should be conditioned on getting or enrolling in a GED program. Rather, we support something that I believe the Senate conferees have put out, the notion of putting some additional funds into reemployment and training services and giving workers appropriate reemployment assessments. And if through that part of the employment services, not as sort of the stick over the head, you won't get UI if you don't get it, but through appropriate reemployment assessments.
I think we just have a disagreement on how best to get people.
Could I finish my statement, sir?
No, you answered it beautifully, and I appreciate it. Let me go to job search. I would think most people are searching aggressively from day one when they don't have a job, but unfortunately, not all do. Recent report, New York Times analysis in 2009 showed that the average unemployed in America spend about 30 minutes per day looking for work, and 1 in 6 unemployed people look for work on a typical day. What we know is those who aggressively job search usually find a job sooner than others. Can I ask you, Mr. Everson, do you have a job search requirement in your state unemployment benefits?
Yes, sir.
And would you recommend that at the federal level we do the same as well, since obviously your unemployment taxes don't pay for all your benefits, others chip in to do that? You would think that would be sort of a responsible reform to enact.
I believe that job search, you want to certainly emphasize it I agree with that 100%, but I think that the traditional way the system has worked, with the states determining what's best in their circumstances, is an important principle. And the states do vary what they want to do. What I don't want to see happening, it's like the non-reduction rule, is that you look at these occasional extensions, and we're in this period of extension now, and you force back changes into the core program, which runs pretty well and has served us well for 7 decades. The problem being, again, you're seeing right now that states have already cut the benefit duration from 26 weeks to 20 weeks. A number of them have done it because of they can't go through the non-reduction rule. So I just think you can have unintended consequences when you have the federal mandates. But I do agree you need enhanced work search. If I could make just one additional point, because it keeps coming up, the duration and the lack of effort that's talked about. There's a public policy tension here. There's no doubt, I'm not going to comment on the amount of the stimulative effect of the benefits, but there's no doubt we have in Indiana tens of thousands of people who benefit from these extensions. That's absolutely clear. But there's another factor that hasn't been touched upon. Clearly, individuals make a decision every day not to take a job. If it's paying $15 an hour and they were making $20 in their old job, if they look at the economics of it and they say, geez, my spouse is working, so I've got health care, and I'm avoiding child care costs, and they say, I'm going to wait until that better job comes along. It's just, as my colleague on the panel said, that's a good short-term decision for the individual, but it's a bad long-term decision for him or her, because employers are increasingly skeptical about people who've been out of work for a year or 18 months or 2 years. That's just a consequence we haven't touched on here. That's real. It may not be in the stimulus.
And I apologize, I went way over my time, but thank you for coming.
Thanks, Commissioner. Thanks, Vice Chairman Brady. Congresswoman Maloney.